Here is the 2024 Ford Ranger XLT in carbonized gray metallic over ebony cloth interior. This is all new this year. We're getting 4 different variants that will include a Raptor. And when you're thinking a pickup truck, now it's almost the size of the older F-150s. We have the Sports Appearance Package, which adds exterior styling, advanced towing, technology, including navigation. Is this going to be better than the prior? I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides, and I'm going to go over the pros and cons. The problem that I have with the Ranger and comparable rivals: the front will start off with LED daytime runnings, fog lights, and reflector headlights that will form a C structure that integrates into the Ford badging and that large grille. Because we have the Sport Appearance Package, we get the gray inserts. The lower is going to get the satin aluminum. You will not receive the recovery hooks because that's only going to be on the 4x4. And you have 2 different power options this year, which we have the 2.3 liter inline 4-cylinder turbocharged EcoBoost engine that produces 270 horsepower with 310 pound-feet of torque. That's paired to the 10-speed automatic transmission, achieving 21 mpgs for the city and 25 mpgs for the highway. And because we have the Sports Appearance Package, we get these 17-inch 5 double-spoke carbonized gray alloy wheels with the all-terrain tires, and they'll also add that around the fenders so it looks a little bit more classy. So you're not just getting components outside, but it also goes into the interior as well. The running board is also an upgrade, as well as this year you can add a step for the rear to make it easier to get inside to the cargo box. Towing has not increased, nor has payload, nor is performance. So when I'm thinking a full refresh, that's the problem that I have right off the bat. Because when I think about the Toyota Tacoma, they have went through the same thing, a full refresh. It took like 50 years. I'm just kidding. But when they did the refresh, they increased in towing capabilities and payload. And yes, it's still less than the Ford Ranger. And when you're thinking 7,500 pounds of towing, this is a sweet spot vehicle, especially when you get into the XLT instead of the Lariat. Because the Lariat, you'll start getting standard features, but here you can option features and you can save a little bit of money. And if you're going to step up to the Lariat, you might as well start considering the Raptor, because you're starting to hover around the same pricing, and that will have the same standard amenities, except it will change out that 2.3 liter to a 3.0 liter EcoBoost V6 twin turbo engine, and that's going to have an output of 405 horsepower and 430 pound-feet of torque. But that will drop the towing capabilities to 5,500 pounds and the payload just over 1,300 pounds, where with this engine option, you get over 1,800 pounds of payload. Plus you have 2 different option variants. When you go into the XLT, you can option the 2.7 liter EcoBoost twin turbocharged V6 that produces 315 horsepower and 400 pound-feet of torque. But that will also drop the payload to just over 1,700 pounds. However, you're still getting the same towing capabilities, which the Chevy Colorado is going to be the best in class because that's at 7,700 pounds. And even the Nissan Frontier will not be able to tow or have the same payload as this. So it's going to outclass it. And if you're thinking, well, maybe I'll just step it up to the F-150, because base price of that can be comparable to a featured up Ranger, well, your towing capabilities can go up to 10 and 12,000 pounds, so it's going to be a different type of a vehicle, especially because you can either go into the 2.7, which will get you that 10,000 pounds, or the 3.5, which will get you over 12,000 pounds. But each time you change the configuration, it will increase the price to probably more of the mid-60s and 70 grands, making this the sweet spot yet again. LED taillights, front and rear parking sensors, a 360-degree reverse camera, spare tire tucked underneath, Ranger badging across the tailgate, and I would personally option the Sports Appearance Package. It's under $3 grand. You're getting quite a bit of amenities for the exterior and in the interior, and it's just a touch over 40 grand. So when I'm thinking the full capabilities that I'm getting with the base engine opposed to the upgraded engine, because I will lose towing capabilities, it doesn't make sense to tack on a lot of features, especially if you're trying to consider for an everyday use or a work truck. Soft open, going into 59.6 inches long, a height at 34.7 inches between the wheel well housing at 48.2 inches, with a cargo capacity at 43.5 cubic feet. We have a 12 volt and a home plug. And on the tailgate, you'll get the measurement, so it makes the day in and day out use easy. Ten-way power seat adjustment for the front with the cloth upholstery, headroom, and leg room. The new Ranger is going to have a little bit more storage, and it starts on the passenger side because we now have a storage pocket in the dash. It's going to be a flat dash layout. 6 speakers is standard. The B&Os will be on the Lariat and the Raptor, and that's standard. 10-inch is going to be standard for here. We have the upgraded 12-inch, and if you go into the XL, you can't even get this. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Sirius XM, AM, FM, streaming, Bluetooth, audio. You have the zone lighting, which is the same thing as the F-150, so I like that because this is smaller, and yet you still have some of the same configuration as that. For the 360-degree reverse camera, you can click here. You can also click on different camera positions here to see all around the vehicle to zoom in and out. Click here. It's going to give you a little menu so you can change the configuration to see a little bit more so for your towing or for the side profile. Dual climate control settings, which you can use physical buttons, and you can do the same thing for the temperature, speed, or you can just simply click onto it. Wireless charging pad, which you can't get on the XL. And it's going to have a little bit of a storage here with a pin or key fob holder. Driving mode select on the 10-inch gauge cluster, which we do have a few driving modes. You got normal, eco, and it'll have a little picture to show you what they are. Sport, tow haul, and slippery. Leather wrap steering wheel. It is multi-function with adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, and because of the sport appearance package, that's why we have the upgraded tech with the navigation. It's going to be soft to touch here, opens up into a pretty deep storage pocket with a 12-volt charger. Auto dimming rear view mirror, no moonroof, but when you click onto this button here, you can open up the rear window. The door panels and dashboard configuring together. You get the gloss black around the air vent, so it looks similar to the Bronco. And I like the texture that they add throughout the dash because it makes it a little bit more rugged looking. Door panel is going to have one touch up and down for the windows. You'll get the pattern that comes in, and it's going to be soft to touch with a long storage pocket and about 2 beverage holders carved out. For the back seat, pull it all the way up, and now you have a compartment area that you can put some goodies. The floor isn't completely flat, but it basically leaves area so everything isn't rolling around. And pull the lever here, and you can fold these down. So now you have a flat area. Because we have the running boards, it makes it a little easy. There isn't any grab handle. Leg space is not going to be a problem, nor is headroom for the back seats. We're going to have USB ports, home plug, a storage pocket, storage behind the passenger seat, cup holders with an armrest, and the door is going to have the same segment as the front, so you get the pattern, soft to touch, with about the same size storage pocket. Sliding into the center, because the rails are pushed up, feet space isn't too bad, but leg and shoulder space is actually pretty good, as well as headroom, and I'm at 6'3". 270 horsepower with 310 pound-feet of torque out of the 2.3-liter inline 4-cylinder EcoBoost turbocharged engine. Now the 2.7 is 45 horsepower more and 90 pound-feet of torque more, so it is going to be a little bit more performance. But if you're looking for the everyday use and to save some money when you're going into the Ranger opposed from maybe a Maverick, I think this is kind of the sweet spot because you tack on the sports appearance package, you're getting updates on the exterior, and they're coming in the interior as well. The ride still has that bumpy feel to it, but that is to be expected. It is a truck. But when you push the gas pedal, I mean, at a low RPM, this thing is ready to take off. Sound deadening is okay. It's about the same as the prior, and it feels like you sit up a little bit higher, even though you don't. It's gonna take me to some pros and cons right off the bat. The pros is we're getting this new screen that is integrated. It is larger than the prior, and you can get a smaller configuration. However, I would probably suggest going this route just because it's a little bit more seamless and everything kind of fits the way it is. Plus, when you go XLT, making this the sweet spot is because you can get the upgraded tech. You can get things like the wireless charging pad. You can't get a wireless charging pad when you go into the XL. I would add the feature to get the leatherette seating, but you do have to be careful, like I was saying, on the exterior, because it will tack up the price, in which you can pretty much feature up a Lariat or go into a base model Raptor. But overall, I'm liking the comfort that is coming into play. Turn radius is going to be about 2 and a part lane. Let's rock and roll. That exhaust note will filter in, even though this is just an inline 4-cylinder EcoBoost turbo. So don't get me wrong, it's nothing like a V8. However, it does have quite a bit of torque, which makes this a little bit more special. Some cons is we're not getting any increase in payload in towing capabilities. We get the upgraded tech, however, we're not getting 5G capabilities. The interior is still going to be a little bit smaller than some of the rivals for the back seat. I understand you're not going to be in the back seat most of the time. You're going to be driving the car or in the passenger side, which I like that we now have storage in the dash. And the storage in the door panels is good, because if you are considering an F-150, this is just a slot underneath it, which would take care of the majority of people's needs for a day in and day out use, plus going a little bit extra because you could do actual work with this. So I think if you're considering the Maverick, this is going to be the sweet spot. Plus you're going to have more room in the interior. It's going to sit up a little bit higher with clearance. And the suspension for this, you could do some off-roading with it. Going against the rivals, like I was saying, on the exterior, you are the second best in class, because the Colorado just outperforms it by a touch. The seat bolstering is good. For the butt area, it extends out, even though they don't have anything for like manual cushion extensions. I'm at 6'3" and it goes nearly to my knees. So for a long drive, it's definitely going to be more comfortable than the XL, because you're not going to get the power seat adjustments either. They would be manual seat adjustments. And if you're trying to cross shop between the Nissan Frontier and this, the major difference is this is going to be able to get a little bit more done, but it's going to be more sealed up there. It's going to feel a little bit more smooth in the drive. You will feel a little bit more of the bumps here, especially without having anything in the cargo box. But it's a solid vehicle for a day in and day out use. I would personally option the 2.3 because I look to get the maximum use out of the vehicle, or I would just bump it up into the Raptor, which it's a completely different animal. But let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Check out the next video, merchandise, website, and Instagram. Leave a comment and a like, and I'd like to thank Furman Ford for giving us this 2024 Ford Ranger XLT for our car review.